Isn't some of this outrage a little disingenuous?
Well, I think that, you know, many of us were not privy to the contracts. I do think there should have been much more due diligence at the first time, and then at the second opportunity, and then most recently. And I don't buy that we just can't do anything about it. I agree with the people who say, first of all, they should voluntarily not take these bonuses. Remember, even Hank Greenberg didn't take his bonus after 9/11 because we were in financial straits and our economy had been hit very hard. At AIG, he refused about a $5 million bonus. You know, that's what the kind of spirit I'd like to see here. I'd like to see them voluntarily step up and say, I understand that this is something the American people didn't intend to fund, and they're lucky to have a salary, they're lucky to have a job, and they ought to be working to get AIG back in the black.
Senator, are you with your colleague, Senator Menendez there, as well as Chuck Schumer, that if they don't give the money back, Congress will move forward to tax them 100% so the money gets back some way, somehow?
Yes, I do think that we should take action. I think they should know that we will take this action, and I think it should apply to others who are taking federal stimulus money as well. When money is misspent, I think if our only lever is taxes, or maybe it is you return the money or you're out of a job, that's another piece of leverage that could be used. But I think this is something we can't just sit back and say, well, we can't do anything about it. I think there are some things we can do.
A couple more questions. I want to play what CNBC's Rick Santelli said this morning on CNBC, and then I have a question for Senator Menendez on the other side. Take a listen.
Maybe I'm missing something, but the outrage seems to be about M's. Millions of dollars, right? $165 million, okay? But I would think that it should be looked at as a pretty big positive, because when you go from the M, maybe you should try to go to the B's, which is the billions of dollars, and maybe that's going to even enlighten for the T, trillions of dollars. You know, 165 million is like worrying about 16.5 cents, while 165 maybe necessitates a little more outrage.
All right, the outrage factor. I want to come clean on this. You're both politicians, and we cover them, but we've got Senator Grassley going off on this issue, very outraged, saying ridiculous things. We've got Senator Schumer and a lot of you folks there pushing for the money to be paid back. I'm wondering, is this political opportunism to feign outrage at something that we knew was happening for a year now? Do you, Senator Menendez, do you, Senator Hutchison, do perhaps Chuck Schumer, do you all get the Rick Santelli Award?
Well, you know, I've seen a lot of outrage in your show and the shows of others on MSNBC and other channels. I think it's just a genuine outrage that is shared collectively across the landscape of the country by people who are tightening their belts, facing sacrifices every day. And it may have existed a year ago, but no one knew, other than maybe the specific people at AIG and the then Treasury Secretary who gave them the first tranche of money, should have brought it to the Congress's light and say, by the way, there's some contracts here, and these contracts are going to be a problem. No one said that to the Congress.
You know, taxpayers, and Senator Hutchison, would love to hear from you too as well, so we'll start with Menendez and then pan out. But taxpayers, what, own about 80% at this point of this company? Why not we just take the whole thing over at this point, or should it be allowed to fail? Where do you guys stand on the long-term future of AIG? Senator Menendez, you first.
Well, actually, one of the things that I know that Treasury Secretary Geithner is looking at on the restructuring of AIG, how does that restructuring, if we don't get this money paid back, we have the taxing opportunity, and secondly, the restructuring opportunity to take it all back. Finally, the question is, I'd rather see the private sector run a company like AIG with the government oversight, and if we can do that successfully, it's always preferable. But at the end of the day, we have systemic risks here, and that's why we got involved in this in the first place.
All right, Senator Hutchison, what do you think should happen to AIG? What, especially in light of these bonuses and the outrage that seems to go all the way up to the top, to the President of the United States?
I just think there need to be clearer rules, Mika. I don't I don't want to bring down the entire insurance industry. I think there are large global ramifications to that. So you do want to have an insurance component here, but I do think we need to have much clearer rules when we are in this government bailout. I mean, you know, Rick Santelli talking about millions, why not talk about billions and trillions? I think we are losing sight of the picture here, that we can't just be talking about billions and trillions of dollars as if it were $1,000 or 20 cents. This is real money that eventually we are going to have to pay back, or at least bring the debt in line. And I think we've got to step back here and have rules that apply to all of the financial institutions and to AIG and similar organizations.
Well, you talk about similar organizations. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm just, in the grand scheme of things, I'm looking at these AIG bonuses, and as Rick Santelli pointed out, I mean, they're a small portion of the bigger problem. There are companies out there where you have executives who, it appears, snuck bonuses through right before the company went down and was bailed out by the government. It seems to me I would be more outraged by that behavior than a bunch of bonuses given out to several thousand employees that add up from $1,000 to $19,000.
You know, I think there has not been enough oversight here and not enough rules to start with. And if we have learned anything, I mean, and I will start back from September of last year. Mistakes were made, but I think not learning from those mistakes is a huge mistake. And we've got to step back and say there will be rules for this. Here are the rules. It's not business as usual anymore until we get over this crisis and we're back into a system that we know has regulatory reform that makes it work. And I think we're going to have to do special things.
Let's pan back. Bottom line, yes or no from you both, Senator Bob Menendez and Kay Bailey Hutchison. Will that money from AIG, will those bonuses be recovered?
They're going to be recovered. 100%.
All right. Senator Hutchison?
I believe so, but I never want to predict fully anything that happens in Congress. But I do believe that the sentiment is there. We've just got to find the legal way to do it if they don't come up with a volunteer program, which would be my first choice.
Okay, thank you. Senators Bob Menendez and Kay Bailey Hutchison, we appreciate it.